Your ex is hiding things from you. Now, they're not necessarily lying, but they're definitely not telling you the full truth. And if you keep asking direct questions, you will never get the real answers. Because the second they know that you're trying to get into their head, they put up walls to keep you out. But there is a way around those walls that, if utilized correctly, will tell you everything that you need to know without your ex even realizing you were curious. And no, it's not stalking their Instagram or asking their friends. It's actually a psychological technique used by intelligence agencies to get people to reveal information without even knowing they're doing it. So let's talk about how this actually works, because there is a way of getting real answers out of your ex without asking them directly. And once you understand it, you'll start to notice how often people give things away in normal conversation without meaning to. But first, here's where most people go wrong. They try to force clarity. They ask things like, do you still have feelings for me? Or are you seeing somebody else? And it almost never goes the way they want. Either the answer is vague and unsatisfying, or the other person just shuts down completely. And that's not because there's nothing there. It's because those questions put your ex in a position where they feel like they're being analyzed or backed into a corner. And the moment that happens, people start protecting themselves. They filter what they say, they hold things back, and whatever answer you get is no longer the truth. It's the safest version of it. So instead of pushing for answers, you have to remove that pressure entirely. You need the conversation to feel normal, even a little aimless. Because when somebody feels like they're just talking, not being questioned, they tend to reveal a lot more than they realize. You've probably seen this happen before. Somebody starts explaining something casually and ends up saying way more than they intended. They weren't trying to hide anything, so they didn't think carefully about what they were giving away. And that's essentially what you're doing here, only on purpose. Now, this approach is called elicitation. And it sounds more complicated than it is. All it really means is getting information without asking for it directly. You guide the conversation just enough to keep it moving in the right direction, but not so much that it feels forced or unnatural. And because your ex doesn't feel like they're being questioned, they don't put their guard up. They feel like they're in control of what they're sharing, which is exactly why they end up sharing more. Now, this isn't just about surface level information either. When you do this properly, you actually start to pick up on things beneath what they're saying. What they emphasize, what they avoid, how they react when certain topics come up. And that's where you start getting real insight into what's actually going on. Now, we'll get into that part later, because it does become important once you start actually using these techniques. Now, if you're interested in another approach that pairs really well with this, I did make a full video on mirroring, basically how to make your ex feel more comfortable and open around you. And it goes beyond just body language, and it's a really good way to set the stage for what we are going to talk about here. And I've linked that one below in the description and in the corner as well if you want to check it out. Now, there's actually a few different ways to apply elicitation, and some are more effective than others. The first one that I'm about to show you works because it taps into something people do automatically. They correct you when you're wrong, often without thinking about what they're revealing when they actually do it. Stop acting like you're trying to figure your ex out, and start acting like you're just out of the loop. So instead of telling them what you know about them or asking them specific questions, you want to say something like, I have no idea what you've been up to. I feel like it's been forever. What's new with you? Now they're the one filling in the blanks. And when people feel like they're updating you, they reveal way more than they should. And all you have to do is listen. Let them talk longer than you normally would without interjecting, and watch as they just fill in the blanks. Now, I know this sounds painfully simple, but a lot of people blow right past it because they don't actually listen to their ex. They're focused on, impressing them or controlling them, and they're loud when they should be quiet. Feigned ignorance actually works especially well in an ex because of the new dynamic that the breakup creates. You see, your ex wants to appear like they're doing really well, like they're thriving without you. So when you give them an opportunity to fill you in, they're more likely to, speak faster than they can think and reveal the answers to questions that they didn't even know you had. Now, this information is going to be framed in such a way to make them seem, better, more stable, more in control than they really feel. But if you can read between the lines, you can learn a lot that they don't want you to. Now, I'll tell you more about reading between the lines later, but first, this technique is even stronger because it makes them correct you without thinking. All right, now this one is even more tricky. So you want to say something slightly wrong. Not obviously wrong, just incorrect enough that your ex will notice it. So for example, say something like, I guess you're still working at the same place, right? How's that going for you? Now, if that's not true, then of course they're going to correct you instantly, because people hate letting incorrect information just sit there. And again, this works especially well because, of the dynamic that you've created with your ex. So if your ex is a little mad at you, a little resentful, feeling on edge in your presence, good, because that means they'll have even more reason to try to prove you wrong. And in the process, they'll reveal everything. And just like that, you've pulled real information out of them without ever asking a direct question. Just know that you're not accusing your ex of things here. You want it to seem casual and unforced, like you were genuinely misinformed. And remember, your silence is your power in this situation. Silence signals a lot of things to your ex that are going to be beneficial if you want to win them back. Things like respect, mystery, and self-control. When you're silent, your ex is forced to wonder about you, and the next step after wondering about you is wanting you. Now let's talk about how to get them talking without breaking your silence. So once they've got their ex talking, this is where most people screw up. They try to control the conversation. They talk too much. They push. They do more when they should really be doing less. Instead, you need to sit back and remember everything you know about being a good listener. Nod your head, make some eye contact, but not too much. Stay relaxed and mirror their body language. And validate their feelings about what they're sharing with you. Say things like, yeah, I get that. I see where you're coming from. That makes a lot of sense. I'd probably do the same. And when you're in doubt, just let the silence do the work. So if there's an awkward pause, don't try to fill it. Just let it hang. They'll feel the need to fill the dead air, and you'll end up getting more information than you would if you jumped in. So really, it's a balance between making your ex comfortable and allowing a little stress and awkwardness to build up so that they naturally blurt things out, trying to ease the tension. This is something that professional negotiators do that gets other people to slip up and make mistakes. Now, the next one is subtle, but it's also where you start getting into real insight into how your ex actually feels. A leading question is an idea that you might have heard about in terms of questioning a witness in a trial. It's actually something that's not allowed in a courtroom because it's so powerful at changing how people think. So essentially, you're framing the question in a way that already suggests an answer. So instead of asking, how have you been feeling? You might say, so things have been a bit easier for you lately, right? You're framing their answer to reveal exactly what you want to know, but without it feeling, unnatural, because it's based on what they've already told you. And that's the most important part of a leading question, the assumption. It has to be based on some amount of actual fact that you're extrapolating to mean more than it does. So let's imagine a scenario. You want to know if your ex has changed much since the breakup. You've seen them on Instagram, posting about going to concerts and parties. You're worried that they've changed too much and are no longer going to want you back. So you say something like, I saw you went to that Tiesto concert. You're a bit of a raver now, aren't you? And this is going to make them want to share their experience at those concerts, and you'll be able to tell how important this aspect of their life is now. It's subtle, but it is a powerful technique. And this question also flatters your ex a bit, which is a great way to make them open up. But we will talk a little bit more about that later. For leading questions, it's also helpful if they have a yes or no answer, because they're going to want to expand on their answer rather than just saying, yes or no. So for elicitation, there's a place for open-ended questions and also one for closed questions like these. And leading questions can also be paired with technique number 2 that we already talked about. So ask leading questions where you know the answer they're leading to is incorrect. So if you want confirmation that they're going to the same gym as you, you can say, I heard you were going to this other gym now, is that right? I'm surprised, it didn't seem like you're seen. And they're more likely to correct you and say, no, I'm actually going to your gym. And this is going to work so much better than just asking, what gym are you going to now? Because that can feel like you're obsessing over them, and so they'll think twice before telling you the truth. But if they're just correcting you, the answer is just going to come out naturally. Elicitation is as much about guiding the conversation as it is about making your ex monologue. So here's the ideal way to guide your ex into telling you what you want to know. You don't want to just bring up the information that you're trying to get them to share with you. You want to start a conversation on the general topic and then narrow it down until they share with you without you having to ask. Now remember, I mentioned a technique that can be used to tell if your ex cheated on you. This is the one. So instead of saying, did you cheat on me? You start with an adjacent topic. You say something like, I hear that Maria cheated on Jeff. Can you believe that? And now you're talking about the topic of infidelity in general, why people do it, how it happens, and that's when you can narrow it down on them. I know you were pretty unhappy towards the end of our relationship. Were you ever thinking about other people? And this can actually work because by putting infidelity into context, you've normalized it. So they're going to be more likely to admit it to you. And because it seems like it came up naturally, they feel comfortable instead of attacked. But of course, I'm sure that I don't have to tell you that this is an extremely sensitive type of conversation. So don't bring it up as long as you and your ex are still on shaky ground. And if things start going south, change the subject and get out of there. It's not worth it. Besides, if they do catch on, you're never going to get the truth. Now, this last technique is one that I mentioned earlier, the one that works almost every time. Your ex, like everyone, has an ego. They want you and others to think well of them. So use this to your advantage. Say something like, you always had a really good instinct for people. Or, you were always the more emotionally aware of the two of us. And when people feel flattered, they may try to deflect it, but on some level, they believe that it's true, even if they've never thought it before you said it. And so when we're flattered, we sort of step into that identity. And once your ex steps into that identity, they start explaining things, giving opinions, revealing their thought patterns. They become a teacher and you become a student. But what they don't know is that you're not studying the subject, you're studying them. And this is what makes elicitation so powerful. It really changes the dynamic between the two of you. Now, you do want to be careful with this one. You want to slot it in naturally into the conversation, like it wasn't at all planned. If the first thing you say to them is, I've just been thinking about how good of a leader you are, then it's going to be clear you're trying to influence them or flatter them in some way. And that really is the big warning here for everything that I've just told you. If this feels like a tactic, then you're going to lose. If it feels like you're trying to extract information, you're going to lose. Elicitation only works when it feels like a normal, relaxed conversation. You can't seem like you have an agenda at all, or they're going to feel that internally, and they're going to lose the desire to open up. The moment your ex feels analyzed, they shut down. But remember, this technique is used by the FBI and intelligence agencies all around the world to get information from people. So if they're able to make an interrogation feel like a friendly chat and still find out what they need to know, I'm pretty sure that you can do it too. Now, here's what you might not have realized. Your ex is not always just going to come right out and tell you what you want to hear in plain English. So you can't just listen to the words that they're saying. You also need to pay attention to what they avoid, what they emphasize, the moments where their emotions spike, where they hesitate, deflect, where they change the subject, because that's where the truth lies. So it's not just about pretending to be a good listener. You have to go beyond being a good listener and look at their physical response to the questions. Did they shift in their seat, cross their arms, furrow their brow? It all means something. And one final word of warning before you use this technique, and that is, be sure that you want to know the truth about your ex. Because I've seen some pretty messy stuff that came out and changed how people looked at the other person in a really negative way. I think it's almost always better to know the truth, but sometimes the truth does really hurt. Now, regardless of what your ex's secret is, it's not always going to make it easier for you to connect with them and make them take you seriously again. So if you want a step-by-step plan to rebuild attraction and get them back, go to breakupbrad.com/plan and I'll show you exactly what to do next. Again, just go to breakupbrad.com/plan to get a plan that's customized to your situation with your ex. And you should also know that I barely scratched the surface here on ways that you can use elicitation on your ex. So if you want to know more about this kind of thing, please comment part 2 down below. And if there's enough interest, I'll make that video next. And if you want to know the one mistake you're making that helps your ex move on, watch my next video that I've linked down below, because chances are you've already made it. Bye for now.